It's a really diverse country here. It's what they call the Southern Highlands, but it's just an amazing place to kind of explore.
Leading up to the fires, it had been very, very dry, and we knew that if a fire came through, it was going to be pretty catastrophic.
So the Black Summer bushfires caused a lot of trauma for residents in the areas that were impacted by the fire.
That shock of seeing the complete obliteration of the understory. You cannot understand that negative space that's left.
We were pretty well impacted, and we've lost a lot of infrastructure.
The first thing I noticed after the fires was weeds, things like inkweed, fleabane and coolertie.
Yes, the amount of weeds that came back after the fire was quite incredible, and specifically types of weeds that we hadn't seen before.
I think the biggest challenge with the weeds is identification, like at first trying to work out, is this a weed, is it not? It was kind of really tricky. It was like real detective work in the first few months.
But we have some of the good people from the council come here and tell us exactly what sort of weeds there are and what needs to be controlled.
So perennial grass weeds like coolertie grass, serrated tussock, African love grass can be really invasive post-fire.
A big part of our role in the response after the bushfires came through has been educating the community on what the priorities are, where they lie and where efforts are best placed.
So post-fire, we encourage residents to allow natural regeneration to drive the recovery of the bushland on your property. Actively do weed control in areas adjacent to burnt areas, which protects the burnt areas from invasion from weeds from the outside.
It's something that's just not set and forget. It's something that's continually you've got to keep on top of, and you've got to try different methods all the time.
I think if you're aware of your weeds and you have a continual strategy around how you want to deal with them, it does get easier.
If you're unsure what's native and what's a weed, give council a call. Biosecurity officers can come out and help you identify the plants coming up on your property.
If the community across the board is on top of the weed situation, then we'd be in a much better position in regard to preventing wildfires and bushfires like the ones that came through in Black Summer.
So managing weeds is about protecting the land and protecting our industries, the tourism industry and the agricultural industry.
Our natural environment and the native ecosystems, these things are worth protecting.
I think you've really got to be prepared to work at it, and that comes from having a love for the land.
There's a really strong sense of community in the Southern Highlands, and I think it's really important to work together. We can achieve so much more if we do that.